This is every single detail in Attack on Titan Season 1, starting at the very first episode. When we first see the scouts in action, we briefly see the character of Moses. However, if you're an anime only like myself, you wouldn't have known this about him. In the manga, his mother calls him by his last name, which is Brown. And as we all know, this is also Reiner's second name, so is this guy Reiner's long-lost cousin? The existence of Marley is hinted at from the very start of the show. If you go back and look at the very first title card, you can actually see Marley, the ocean, and the walls on Paradis. My theory is that this ship right here is also the exact ship that Reiner, Bertholdt, Annie, and Marcel all travel to Paradis on for the first time. In Eren's dream sequence, there's a part that features Connie, Sasha, Jan, Armin, Levi, and Mikasa all dead in a forest. This was supposed to be how Attack on Titan would end back when Isayama started writing the manga on the 9th of September 2009. When we meet Armin for the first time, we see these guys bullying him. But what actually happened to them, because they seem to just disappear off the face of the earth? In the past, Isayama has stated how much he hates bullying, so naturally he wanted to kill them off ASAP. When the Colossal Titan kicks down the wall in the first episode, you can see them being crushed by a massive boulder. On top of that, we also saw Eren's mum get killed in this episode. She tells Eren and Mikasa to just run and get out of there, which makes sense because of course she didn't want her children to get eaten. She uses the fact that her legs are crushed to try to convince Eren to stop trying to save her. Later on, after Hannes bitches out of killing Dinah's Titan, we see that as she's being lifted up, she actually is in control of her legs, meaning that she probably could have survived if Hannes had just helped them lift up the roof. During episode 2, when Eren, Mikasa, and Armin and all of the other people of Shiganshina are evacuating to Wall Rose, if you pay close attention, you'll actually be able to spot Annie amongst the refugees. Also, later on in the same episode, before many people were sent to their deaths in an attempt to solve the Wall's famine issue, you'll notice that Reiner and Bertholdt are also in that crowd. Now, there are quite a few details during Attack on Titan's training arc. Firstly, after Eren failed his initial ODM training exercise, as they are eating dinner that night, we can see Eren with a bandage on his injury. But if you take a closer look, you can see steam coming from his head, revealing his Titan powers. Additionally, you can also see a subtle foreshadowing to Reiner and Bertholdt's true identities in this scene. As Eren is talking about the armored Titan, the camera instantly pans to Reiner. After the Colossal Titan breaks down the wall for the second time, we see a bunch of pure Titans making their way into Trost. But did you know that they actually reveal the true origin of Titans? If you watched closely during Grish's backstory in Season 3, then you would have noticed that these pure Titans were actually the other Eldian restorationists. During the scene where Eren saves Armin from the bearded Titan, Eren said he could never die in a place like this. The ironic thing is that he said that while inside the mouth of a Titan, and well, spoiler alert, he dies inside the mouth of a Titan. Additionally, there was also something in this scene that 99% of fans overlooked. If you look closely, you'll notice that Armin was literally right there when Eren transformed for the first time, but was way too shocked about him being eaten to realize what had actually just happened, which is why he couldn't remember anything about the situation. Did you know that Titans don't actually just eat humans for no reason? As we know, Titans don't have any physical need to eat whatsoever, so the reason why they eat people is because of the very slim chance that they might be able to consume a Titan shifter and turn back into a human. In Season 1 Episode 6, we get a small insight into Mikasa's backstory. We're also shown how her and Eren actually met for the first time. Towards the end of the episode, when Eren was being strangled by one of the kidnappers, we see Mikasa coming to the realization that the world is very cruel. We see this shot of her staring at a praying mantis eating a butterfly. And for those of you who don't know, praying mantis are well known for decapitating their mates. Sound familiar? What's even crazier though is that the butterfly is also a symbol for freedom, Eren's main driver. Who let Isayama cook like this? After this flashback, we witness Mikasa's Ackerman powers awaken before she saves Eren from the final kidnapper. But did you ever notice that there's actually a cool parallel to this later on in the show? Eren first uses his founding Titan abilities when saving Mikasa from the Smiling Titan, meaning both of their true powers awakened while saving each other. In Season 1 Episode 7, right before Eren saves Mikasa in his Titan form, we briefly see this shot of a pomegranate. But what was the meaning of it? Well, pomegranates are sometimes depicted as a symbol of death, resurrection, or rebirth, which in this case symbolizes Mikasa accepting Eren's death at the time and deciding to live on in order to remember him. In Episode 10, when Eren transforms to protect Mikasa and Armin from the cannon, the warriors' reactions to this are heavily emphasized, and they then rush over to evaluate the situation, once again foreshadowing that they aren't really who they say they are. Pixie's introduction is one that you can't really forget. Well, if you paid very close attention here, you would have noticed a slight foreshadowing to his death. When he's sat on the wall drinking a lot, one of the garrison says to him, "Someday you will die from drinking." And while it wasn't the alcohol itself that killed him, it was still the action that led to his eventual death. We all remember the scene where Eren tries to punch Mikasa in his Titan form during the battle for Trost arc. Well, if you look very closely at this scene in the manga, you'll actually be able to notice two figures standing outside one of the windows in the background. It is believed that these two people are actually Eren and Zeke when they were wandering around in the paths in Season 4. Most AOT fans remember the female Titan arc very vividly. The amount of chaos in that arc was like nothing we had seen before at the time. Well, if you paid close attention as the scouts are setting off on their mission, you would have noticed Jan kissing his right hand before battling the female Titan. But why did he do this? Well, the hand that he kissed was actually the same hand that held Marco's ashes at the funeral, reminding himself of the lives he is fighting for and the whole reason why he joined the scouts in the first place, giving him the confidence to enter the battle. When Armin came to the suspicion that the female Titan could be looking for Eren, he comes up with the idea of hiding their faces as they go to attack her. He does this because he believes that it won't kill anyone unless it confirms that they aren't Eren. However, when Reiner goes to attack her, he takes his hood down. The reason he did this was so that Annie would know it was him and therefore allow him to escape. Throughout the show, we see this type of flower appear multiple times. But did you ever know that there's actually a hidden meaning behind them? This flower is known as the Campanula and symbolizes gratitude and eternal love, directly referencing one of Attack on Titan's main themes portrayed through Eren and Mikasa. If you carefully analyzed Eren's Titan form, you might have noticed that he actually has a third eyelid. What's crazy about this though is that this physical attribute is one commonly found in birds, connecting Eren once again to the recurring symbolism of birds and freedom. We all know that Attack on Titan's openings are full of details and foreshadowing, and this is a prime example of that. In opening 2, there's a shot where you can see one side of Hanji's goggles breaking, directly foreshadowing her losing her eye after Moblit saves her from the Colossal Titan's explosion in Season 3. In the second ending sequence of Season 1, the identities of the warriors and Ymir are actually foreshadowed. In one of the shots, we can see all of the scouts next to one of the walls. It then transitions to the other side of the wall where we see Annie, Reiner, Bertolt, and Ymir all standing behind it. And as we know now, these characters all came from across the sea over in Marley. In the same ending, you can also spot this scene where Mikasa once again can be seen next to a praying mantis, reinforcing the detail that we covered earlier in the video and foreshadowing how the show would end. Everybody remembers Eren's final fight with Annie at the end of Season 1. Well, during the fight, we are shown the inside of a church before it gets crushed by Annie. But did you ever notice that the formation that everyone was praying in actually directly resembles the Colossal Titans within each of the walls? As the fight is coming to an end and Eren is absolutely crashing out on Annie, he says, "I'll destroy the entire world." Now, at first we all thought maybe bro was just pissed off about the fact that Annie betrayed him. But as we know now, bro was being completely serious. We all remember when Eren and Zeke were traveling through the paths to the past, when Zeke was trying to show Eren that he'd been brainwashed by his father just like he had. But did you know that if you watched very closely in a few of Season 1's first episodes, you can actually spot the adult version of Eren chilling in certain shots? Now, if you're a true AOT fan, then the chances are you've at least dabbled with listening to some of the OST. Well, one of the tracks by Klotza, sorry if I butcher pronunciation, which was played during one of the saddest moments in the entire show, Hanji's death, was heard for the very first time in Season 1. The crazy part here, though, are the lyrics. It always mentions things related to burning and fire. For example, the battle is rising, waiting for the hot wind to take our wings, and the swords that our hands wield are blazing with hatred. It's almost like the song was made back in Season 1 with Hanji's death in mind. And that's every detail. Don't panic, don't panic. I'll be doing this for every other season too, so subscribe and stay tuned. Bye-bye.